Hi friends, welcome back to Ray's Create Cards. I'm Ray Henderson, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Morristown, Tennessee. Hope your week's been going just super. We're having a whole week of rain, and the storms come through last night like nobody's business, but it's all good, right? Who knows if we might have a drought this summer, and maybe God is setting up our water tables for us so that we don't feel it too bad. So anyway, onward and upward, we are going to jump right into this card. It is a mixed media card, mostly Stampin' Up! Products, but I am bringing in a few things that are not Stamping Up. So we are going to be using the Wanted to Say dies, and I'm using the Happy Birthday out of that for the front of the card. I brought in my Hero Arts Beautiful Butterfly Bundle. We don't have a good butterfly set. We had, what was that called? Brilliant Wings, where we had that huge stamp with all the different butterflies. Some people chose to cut them apart. And then you had the big die that cut them all out at one time. I've still got that in my stash. And I don't think I'm going to get rid of it. But for today, what I really needed was an assortment of little butterflies, although I ended up just using this one, stamped it 3 times, embossed it with gold powder. That's already done. It's waiting in the wings. I brought in Encircled in Nature because it's a birthday card. I put on the inside, may this year be incredible and filled with possibilities. I thought that was perfect for the inside of a birthday card. And one of the parts and pieces of our mixed media is a Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. It is probably the most intense 3D folder that I am currently aware of. There may be others in there, but from what I've seen of our 3D, this one really takes the cake, and it's got wonderful deep impression, and I kind of needed that for the techniques today. I have got a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock here, and I tried it out a little bit yesterday to make sure that it would work. I want you to see how very thick it is. The reason I'm bringing that in, I went to get out my watercolor paper, and guys, I think I have maybe 3 little pieces in there, and I thought, okay, let's pretend I don't have it. Is there anything else in my stash I could substitute? And this does really well because of how thick it is. But it's by Strathmore. It's Bristol Smooth Heavyweight Cardstock. I have cut this piece to be 4.5 by 5.5. I'll be cutting it down at some point. But I like to start with a piece that's a little bit bigger than the finished size that I'm going to need. So to get started with our mixed media card, I have brought in the Retired Polished Pink ink refill, re-inker, and the Highland Heather. I went to go get Pretty in Pink, and I realized I don't have the Pretty in Pink re-inkers. When we were able to do our pre-order before the annual catalog went live, the re-inkers were not available to us, and I don't know why. I don't know if they just had not quite made it into stock yet, if the stock was very limited. I don't know. Stamping Up didn't say, and I didn't ask. So I brought in, next best thing was Polished Pink. Melon Mambo was just going to be a little bit too intense for what I wanted to do today. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I have got an old spray bottle here. It actually used to be hand sanitizer spray from back in the days of when we had that 2 years of, whatever. Anyway, I am just going to take my silicone mat and I'm going to spray down a few drops of water. And I'm just going to dot a little bit of this Highland Heather. Yeah, it's going to make a mess. We're going to get inky, guys. But I'm going to put a little bit of that in. You can tell where it hit the water that I sprayed. That's okay. I'm going to spray it again and make a bigger mess. You see all the splatter I have here? Is it showing up for you guys? It's pretty. It is pretty. Okay. And I want some pink here and there. All right. Probably got too much. And let me tell you straight up, if you decide to try this technique, have several pieces of watercolor paper or a really thick cardstock ready, because this is actually going to make more than what you will use on one piece of cardstock. And there's no sense wasting it. Go ahead and see, I've added more to it. Go ahead and by all means do several at a time so that you're not wasting your supplies. I'm not going to take time to do several at a time on screen today. We're just going to do this one. It'll be different every time you do it. That's the oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. And you can go and dip back into the ink to fill in any areas. Some people like to use disposable gloves, rubber gloves when they're doing this. I really don't care if I get inky, because we have water-based dye inks and you can get rid of the stain relatively easy. I'll lay that down in there. There's a spot that's fighting me right there. Right there. All right. Okay. Isn't that pretty? I love doing this stuff. And I'm hoping that you guys, if you've never done this stuff, that you'll start to do it. And I'm just kind of letting the excess kind of run off a little bit there. And I'm looking to see if I have any areas. I got a little white spot right there. I'm not going to let that bother me. Got a little bit right there. It's okay. It really is okay. And now I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up. As I told you, I wasn't going to spend a lot of time dipping a lot of pieces of cardstock. And like I said, you saw how much of that purple of the Highland Heather that I put down. But you can also see, did I get most of it? No, kind of sticky and colorful. You can tell that it wipes up real easy. And if I need to, I could spray more water and just get that up. Or you can use Stampin' Mist, that works too. But water also works. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my heat tool just on the low setting. And we're going to dry this because I can't go any further until this is dry. But I hope that's looking good to you. And yes, it curled the paper, but even on watercolor paper, it would curl some. Maybe not this much, but it would curl some. All right, and we're just going to start drying this up, because we're also going to run it through the embossing folder, and we have a couple, another technique even after that. But this is a simple, bare bones mixed media. You can get very elaborate with mixed media, something I really want to get into more and more. And if you guys are interested, leave me a comment below and let me know, please, that you would like to see other mixed media projects down the road. I'm just tired of the same old thing, and I want to do different things. So maybe you're in that same boat, maybe you're not, I don't know. But let's make sure this is good and dry. It's almost as colorful on the back as it is on the front. Okay. As this dries, it is flattening out more, although it'll still be a little bit curved. It will. That's feeling pretty good, at least on the back. You feel the front. That feels pretty dry. Okay. Alright, got that. Now we're going to bring in our layered florals. I'm going to move these out of the way after I make sure I did put the lids on good. There we go. All right, let's lay this in here straight. I'm going to try and get it straight. But yeah, we've got more rain coming. It's pretty much going to rain all week and has been raining all week so far. Although, a few minutes ago, God sent a break. We got a break in the gray, gloomy skies. We got some blue skies. And I'm trying to set this where y'all can at least kind of see what's going on. This is my Gina K Intricate. And I'm using it because I've already packed up my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to take to class tomorrow. The class I had last Friday was amazing. It was awesome and everybody had so much fun. And I gotta tell you guys, one of the products that stole the show had nothing to do with Stampin' Up. And everybody fell in love with it. I'm going to close this up so that'll release. There we go. Even on that silicone mat, it didn't want to budge. Let's see what we have here. Oh, isn't that pretty? And look, where it pushed up the cardstock, and it's got a little bit of that cracking in there. That actually serves their purpose. And let me show you why. So now I'm going to bring in our brayer. And I am bringing in Hero Arts Unicorn Pigment Ink. I just like this pigment ink. I feel like it has more coverage than Alexa, stop. Oh my heavens, again? Really? Sorry guys, sorry about that. Oh my goodness. I'll have to, I totally forgot the last time that happened to go in there and tell her to quit because I figured, you know, I had it on my calendar. It was only good for that day. Evidently, she has a long memory. Okay, I don't need a reminder to do my July cards. Okay, so we're going to take and roll it over, just hitting those highlights. May have to do this a time or two, but it's so easy. See how it's hitting is those highlights there? What was raised up, the embossed. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to put just a little bit more on there because white ink, when it dries, it kind of fades back just a little bit, and I want just enough of this showing that it makes a difference in our card. All right, got it. Put the lid on here. And I can take, and with a little bit of water and a little bit of soap, this will all come right off, even though it's pigment ink. I'm just going to lay it to the side right now. I'm going to bring my heat tool back in, as it is a pigment ink, and it does take it just a second to dry. So we're just going to go ahead and make sure that's good and dry before we go any further. By cutting this panel a little bit bigger, if I had any unsightly edges or anything from any ink, that would give me some flexibility to cut that down for my card front. And so that's something you might want to keep in mind if you decide to do this. Now, if you don't have pink and purple, use what you have. I played a little bit yesterday. Some of them have already gone in the trash because I just wasn't happy. But here is Lemon Lime Twist and, oh goodness, I think that's Balmy Blue, believe it or not. And maybe some Lemon Lolly in there. And I thought, well, that would be pretty for die cutting. And same for this one. That would be pretty for die cutting. And then I had this one, laid it to the side, and when I got done with this one, I laid it right over on top of it. So now I've got that line, but you know what? That's okay. I can still die cut out of those. So you don't have to use what you do for card fronts. You can die cut with them, do other things with them. So yeah, it's all good. That's looking pretty dry. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit right there. And I see a little bit of shiny right there, so I know that's wet. Mixed media doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have all that to do mixed media cards. A mixed media card is simply bringing in different elements to create your card that may go above stamps, ink, and paper. Okay, although basically it is stamps, ink, and paper, but we're just doing a few different little touches to make this a mixed media, and I think that is good. I think we are dry there. How many of you are fans of Jennifer Maguire like I am? For the last couple of weeks, she has done a series not just with making cards. In fact, there was no card making, but for 2 weeks in a row, she has had Hero Arts on, and they have discussed the history of card making. It was fascinating. Fascinating. I so enjoyed listening to that. And did you know that Hero Arts used to make all of Stampin' Up! Stamps back in the day? I didn't know that. I thought that was fascinating. It was great to hear that. All right, now I'm going to bring in my trimmer that I know has a fresh cutting blade. I have 3 that I use. And I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4, and I'm looking, and probably this edge needs a little trim. So I'm going to trim that right there. 4 1/4 by 5, and honestly it doesn't matter which end I trim, but I'm seeing just a little bit of flower here, more flower here, so I think I'm going to take it off right here. I did do that at 4, right? No, I didn't. I did it at 4 1/4. I meant to go 4. Let's go 4. Sorry, I'll get my head right in a minute. By 5 1/4. And you can save these little strips and use them inside your card if you would like, because it would perfectly match, correct? It would. All right, isn't that pretty though? I'm loving it. And the more it dries, the more the inks will kind of settle down a little bit and the colors get even softer. I did have one waiting in the wings just in case I messed up. Gee, you know, in case I messed up. And I had used the Painted Posies that is now retired. But I used again the same colors of ink, the Highland Heather and the Polished Pink. But isn't that pretty? See how soft that is? But I did this yesterday. And this too is going to kind of soften just a little bit. No worries there. I have got a white card base out of Basic White. I have a layer of Highland Heather to put on the inside, and I did stamp that from the Encircled in Nature in Gorgeous Grape. Now I use Gorgeous Grape ink. May this year be incredible and filled with possibilities. Let me get my glue. We'll just start gluing all this together, and then I'll show you how we're going to finish off the outside. Don't need a whole lot of glue. It's a good strong glue like Tombow is. So you don't have to be all that putting glue everywhere. Oh, and I did stamp the butterfly at Pretty in Pink. And I just stamped it not very long ago. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes ago. It'll soften up too. We're going to lay this on the inside, and then we know we are done with the inside, and we are good. Am I straight? Looks straight. Nope. Doesn't look straight on this side. Isn't that funny? How it can look straight to you on one side and not the other. I just think that's a hoot. All right. We're going to go ahead and get this ready to lay right on here. And I'm thinking, I didn't even think about a layer for the outside, but I think, no, I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down just like that. We don't always have to have layers. I think I do, but honestly I don't. Some of the cutest, prettiest cards I've seen, they didn't do all the layering. Now on the back side here, I am going to be doing quite a bit of glue because of all the hills and valleys and that wonderful embossing. Just wonderful. Okay. That's as much glue as I would use on 2 or 3 cards just for the back of that. Let me turn this where I can see what I'm doing. Making sure I'm straight. Because once this starts taking hold, it's going to be there. It is going to be there. There we go. Better, better, better. All right. Let me close this up for the moment. I'll be needing it again here in just a second. So, originally what I did is I die cut that happy birthday from that Wanted to Say dies. And I used that white glimmer paper that I told y'all about here a while back, and it just seems so plain, and I thought I just really don't want to do the same old, so I'll save that for another card. So I re-die cut, and I did the basic white for the background and Stampin' Up's gold cardstock for the birthday part, okay? And I thought, wow, now look at the difference that made. Just doing that gold and white. And I have got those 3 butterflies. And so I heat embossed in the gold on the Highland Heather and used the die cuts out of that Hero Arts set. And let's see how we want to put these. How we might want to layer this on here. I think I want this up a little higher. I think I do. About like so. And then I'll have room for the butterflies. And then I think I may have found the bling that I want to put on here. So let's go ahead and get this glued on. Obviously you could pop it up on dimensionals if you wanted to. I'm not going to. Maybe I should, since that is so textured. But this is a good strong glue, just like Tombow is a good strong glue. And making sure that's straight. It looks straight, but I'm not picking it up to really see, but I think that looks good. And on the butterflies, you know, you don't really have an area where you can pop up the wings. So what I thought I would do is just put glue in the middle, just right there, and fasten that down. When that dries, and I need a block, all of my blocks are in the kitchen so that they can get their bath. I'm just going to lay that there for the minute. Let that have time to kind of sit in there. And we're going to lay that one right there. Let's get this one. And by doing it this way, you have a little natural lift, and you may not be able to see it right now. I will pick that up here in just a second and show you closer to the camera. Go ahead and put my lid back on. Don't want to flip my lid. So I got a question for you guys. It's a riddle. If you do nothing all day, how do you know when you're done? My husband asked me that the other day, and I just kind of like, huh? I still haven't come up with an answer. Oh my goodness, I thought it was funny. All right, so there is a little bit of lift. I don't know if I'm showing that very well, but there is a little bit of lift with all of them. And again, once that glue is good and set, you could always flex it up a little bit more. Just a little bit more if you wanted to. But that, I don't think it's totally set. It's almost there. Now, in looking for bling, I really wanted to get some kind of bigger. I wanted some gold metallic, but I wanted them bigger than this. And as pretty as these are, even though they're retired, and I love that tonality they have. They're so pretty on so many cards. But because of that gold embossing, can you see how it would clash? See, it's just not the same tone at all. It's more of a creamy gold than it is a gold. So, I went digging through my stash, and I know they're retired, but these were the original 2023 to 2025 in color dots. And I got to looking at these right here, and I thought, well, they're a little darker, but I think they'll work. I think they will. Let me get my take your pick tool. And let's see about sprinkling some in here. I don't mind using some big ones. And no, they're not necessarily going to be in the middle of a flower at all. I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one down here. And I want a medium one. I want a medium one. And I'll take that last small one. Let's just stick that right there. So I ended up having a total of 5. I think I did in my last video too, and I don't know what's up with that because normally I will stop at 3 because I do tend to hoard my bling. But what do you think? Isn't that pretty? I love that. I love it. It was fun. It was fun to get messy. Our inks are water-based dye inks. You can get rid of the stains so easy. A little bit of oil. Go wash your hair. There's something about shampoo that just takes it every time. So here we go. Isn't that a bright, festive, mixed media card? Didn't take a lot of supplies. Wasn't anything outlandish. It didn't take a long time. Even though I had already pre-cut and done some of this, by the time I've been talking and putting all the parts and pieces together, you know, you've got it die cut. So, what do you think, guys? I hope you like this. I've got to get ready for my class tomorrow. I seem to just run behind all the time. But anyway, guys, y'all be safe, be blessed, know you're loved. God is good all the time. Bye.